talked a little bit about how Dr. Keller helped you at a time when you were struggling in your own faith. Can you share a little bit more about that story?
Yeah. It was actually, coming out of predominantly white evangelical circles. My perspective was that we all just kind of saw the same. I felt like the darling of evangelical Christianity for a season, and nothing I could say or do was wrong. I was an echo chamber for all intents and purposes of a lot of things that people loved. But then once I started seeing a lot of unarmed Black people being killed, and there was a highlight on some of the injustices that were happening in society, particularly amongst the African American community, I was under the assumption that we all saw this and we all felt like, oh, this is terrible as believers. And so I spoke about it. And, there was so much backlash and, people canceling me and people saying that I was no longer a Christian. And it really drove me to a place of darkness because in my mind, where else was there to go? I had kind of made my mind up that this was the only expression and iteration of Christianity that was valuable and that made sense. And if these people have turned their back on me, then maybe it wasn't real to begin with. And that hurt and that pain kind of drove me to a place of doubt and deconstruction. And I think it's Dr. Keller's firm stance on not choosing a side, but choosing God and choosing the scriptures, and his nuance in navigating all those things, his voice in those spaces and places were so refreshing and helpful for me. And him sitting and talking about Christian nationalism, and I was like, oh, that's a thing. I didn't know this. It was like water for my thirsty soul, and it slowly began to pull me in. But particularly Prodigal Prophet, sitting with that book in one of the darkest seasons of my life, just turned the corner for me. A quick story. The book centers around the book of Jonah and Jonah's journey. And I am in the darkest point of my life. I'm sitting in Mexico, and I am literally on the verge of like wanting to end my life, being honest. And I'm trying to read this book in order to find some sort of like, God, just speak to me. And I look out the window and I see water from the ocean shooting up out of the ocean into the sky. And I thought to myself, so now I'm losing my faith and I'm going crazy. So now I'm losing my mind now. Water's coming out of the ocean up into the sky. So I'm like, oh, I'm done. It's a wrap for me. And as I'm reading this Prodigal Prophet about a story of Jonah and a giant fish, I see this massive whale come up out of the ocean and come back down in. And the water had been coming from its spout. And it was almost as if God was just saying, I'm here. I'm with you. I see you, and keep pushing forward. And that was a life-altering moment. Matter of fact, I bought this whale when I was in Mexico because of that. And I got Jonah tattooed on my arm, the whale tattooed on my arm because of that whole incident. So, man, that was game changer. Game changer.